So, I heard you were creatively burnt out. You want to create, but every idea already feels too overwhelming before you even start. You're saving ideas, but you're making none of them. You're watching other people create, thinking that everyone is ahead of you. Then you feel guilty because you know that you can create and you know that you want to create, but you're just not taking the action to do it. And suddenly, none of it feels fun anymore. If that sounds like you, same. I'm very much in the same boat. It's been almost a year since I last posted on YouTube with long form content. I do miss it, but every time I think about coming back, I just think of how much effort it takes and my ideas just stay in my notes app. Nothing gets made, it's just too much work. I just freeze. I feel like I don't have the perfect topic, but then I come online and then I see people create YouTube videos about so many things, so many different topics, but somehow it felt like anything I had to say just wasn't good enough. But clearly, if you're watching this, I got over myself and I've made an MVV. What does MVV stand for? Minimum Viable Video. I don't think it's an actual term. I took it from MVP, Minimum Viable Product, from my UI UX days in tech. The idea was to make the simplest version of something that worked in order to ship it and test it. And I realized I could apply that same thinking to content. Instead of trying to make the perfect video, I just had to make one video and actually finish it. It doesn't have to be the best video you've ever made. It doesn't have to prove that you can still do it. It just needs to exist. And that's what I told myself. Script it, film it, edit, post. Don't overthink it, just get it out there. Even right now when I'm filming this, I'm thinking about how much my hands are moving and maybe I should stop that, but I think it would be kind of weird if I just sat here like this. So we're not gonna overthink it, we're just gonna keep going. To you. My light just fell. It's okay. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. We just keep going. Let's just get this out there. I just wanted to feel like I'm sitting here chatting with a friend. I'm not trying to make it too technical, too cinematic. I'm not including too many B-rolls and try to think about all my shot list and everything I need. I just wanted to sit down and film a video. Film, edit, post. That's it. Creative burnout doesn't mean you no longer like to create. In fact, I think it's the opposite. If you're human, there's life. Life happens, right? It could be school, it could be work, it could just be your mental health. It could be transitions. We go through a lot of things in life, and a lot of times when something's uncomfortable, we don't process it, we run from it. At least that's what I tend to do. So my first part was actually to identify that and give myself some grace. So if you feel like you've burnt out, maybe the first step is to give yourself grace. Try to figure out why you're feeling this way and just process it. Give yourself time, sit with it. For me, I had a full 15 months of travel where I was in a different city or almost different country every single month. I know, that sounds like the dream life. And don't get me wrong, I did love parts of it, but by month 6, I was tired and ready to settle down. I was doing everything solo. I had my entire life packed into one giant suitcase, one small carry-on suitcase, a backpack, and a giant tote bag. Every flight was stressful because obviously my luggages were really heavy as I was packing for different climates, and airlines are not very friendly anymore. But thankfully, with One World, they allowed me to get on with my backpack, my carry-on suitcase, and my giant tote bag, thank God. During my travels, I missed having a routine. One thing I am proud of myself for is my travel setup, because I knew I was going to be traveling around. I downsized my entire kit. I sold my A7 III and my X100V and got the A7C II because I'm a photographer at heart, so I needed a hybrid full-frame camera. But in reality, I just filmed with my phone and my Osmo Pocket 3, and now the Luna Ultra. But yeah, I think it's important to also be proud of yourself for the little bits. So I traveled around for 15 months, then I got married, and then I moved to Ireland. I've lived in the UK for 6 years, so I didn't think coming to Ireland would be totally different. But let me tell you, being married, moving to a new country, trying to settle down in a new city, it was an adjustment. It's been about 6 months off moving in with my husband. I think we're getting the hang of it. It took me a while to figure out my work schedule with my husband who works a 9 to 5, as well as the cultural differences in terms of work-life balance here. For example, in Korea, you can stay in a cafe, and their cafes are huge, by the way. You can stay in a cafe till like midnight and no one cares. Whereas here in Dublin, it's normal for cafes to close at like 3 p.m. Talk about culture shock. But A friend put me on, and now I go to WeWork every few days. So that's been a great hack, and I can go into it if you want to know more. Another part was that I thought I would hit the ground running for 2026. I had all these plans because I have a giant wedding at the end of the year. I was planning all the way till that happens. 2026 has not turned out the way I thought it would. Everything that worked last year didn't really work anymore this year, and I'm scrambling because at a certain point it stopped being about having fun and it started being about the algorithm, looking at analytics, finances, and all of that fun stuff, which took away all my fun. I started tying my self-worth to the numbers, which I promised myself I would not do. But when everything felt uncertain, it felt like that was the only thing I had, but that is not true. I kept thinking I had a content problem, that I needed to be producing more, to be living more life, and I just wasn't giving myself enough space and time to process my new life. So if this feels familiar, ask yourself, what else is your brain trying to process through while you're busy judging yourself for not creating? Because for me, once I realized this wasn't a content problem, I stopped trying to solve it with more ideas. I realized over the months of not being disciplined, I've stopped keeping track of how I was spending my time, and turns out I was numbing myself to basically life. I didn't need another strategy. I needed to change the way I was spending my attention. Because when everything felt hard, I defaulted to doom scrolling on social media as well as playing addictive little games on my phone. It's gotten really bad. I would scroll in bed for hours and play on this addictive game. I've not been addicted to a game like this since Candy Crush and The Sims 4. Which I banned myself from because I knew that I needed to be in real life. So the cycle continued, and that's what I'm doing for this exact game as well. We're deleting it today. In fact, I deleted it and then a few weeks later, I re-downloaded it. Yeah, self-control is out of the window. But no, we're fixing it today. It is never too late to redeem yourself. So I was basically consuming way more than creating because I was escaping from the discomfort of having to use my brain. But the thing is that just makes you more uncomfortable with life. So instead of waiting for motivation to come back, or the fear to flee and the thoughts to flee, we are going to take action because that might be the best cure. These are the 3 steps I'm taking to fix my life, and you can try them out with me. Step 1, reduce the noise. Stop filling every quiet moment with content or noise. Have you heard the phrase, boredom is great for your creativity? I see that a lot as tips to raise non-iPad kids. But something I've realized is that I am an iPad kid, but I'm on my iPhone. It's just as bad. So it also sticks. Be bored. Allow yourself to be bored. It will feel uncomfortable and unproductive, which I do not like as I'm a very go person. But this is what we need. I've added timers to my Instagram and my TikTok. Not so much for YouTube because I don't tend to doom scroll on YouTube. Then for the horrid puzzle game that I'm so addicted to, I have deleted it. This is not my first time deleting it. I did download it again. But hopefully this time it sticks. Also, a fun one. I am forcing myself to watch everything on 1x speed again. I don't think I've done this since 2016. I'm always fast forwarding. In fact, I find myself wishing I could fast forward people in real life. And that's when you know it's bad. We keep thinking we need more inspiration, more fun in life, but I think we need to limit our input. So here's something you can do. Pick one thing that constantly steals your attention and limit it for a few days. Let me know how it goes. Now, step 2. Create before you consume. Creativity is like a muscle, so if you've not done it in a long time, it will feel awkward. I've not been creating long form on YouTube, but I have been on TikTok and Instagram. In fact, I thought it was a good business decision to stop posting on YouTube 10 months ago and focus solely on short form content. And while I still think that was a good business decision, I don't think everything has to be business led. Because creativity isn't caged. It isn't all about your metrics, your productivity, your business. It needs to be free. And so by doing that, I stripped myself off the moments of having fun. So coming back to YouTube is like a creative challenge. Now, you might doubt the idea before you even start. You might want to stop and tell yourself that you can come back later. But coming back later is how 10 months passed for me. Look, time is gonna pass anyways. You either get better by doing or you just let time pass. And I don't want to let time pass. So I'm challenging myself to have 10 minutes of output before I consume anything. It could be editing, journaling, doodling, painting, cooking. There's literally so much you can do with your time. You can learn how to play an instrument, you can learn a new language, you can bake a cake. And these are just some things that I personally want to do and I've not been doing because I've been too busy doomscrolling. Like, life is passing by, so it stops today. The goal is to eventually create more than you consume, but that's not gonna happen overnight. And we don't need it to. We just take one step at a time. So do that. A small action right before you consume. Create something. Do something. Write something. Step 3, make your first project small. That's right, we're back to the MVP idea. If you're like me, you've had a huge list of saved video ideas. You can go through the list and pick the simplest one to make. Or just put a pause on all of that, grab a sheet of paper and pen, and write down a quick idea right now, something simple, and just do it. Action creates momentum. A lot of times things don't get done because we're overthinking. Everything happens in our head, and then it becomes too big a project, and then you don't want to do it anymore. So the second you have an idea, do the idea. Take action. Remember, minimum viable video or minimum viable product. This video is my example. I am sitting here speaking to a camera. I'm not changing the angles, nothing. It might change a few times because I have another camera sitting right there. There's people shouting in the streets. My light has fallen, but it's fine. I'm having fun. Like, I actually am having a lot of fun. And I literally told myself today that I was going to script and film and edit a YouTube video. And here we are. Sometimes it really is that simple. Of course, I have the urges to add B-roll, cinematic clips, all the pop-ups and animations and make this a whole production, but I'm not going to do that because I need to get this posted so that it hits my goal. That is the goal, to get this video posted. And we will be hitting that goal without overwhelming ourselves. When you've been in a rut for too long, you have to slowly rebuild trust with yourself. You have to prove to yourself that you can start something and finish it. It's called closing the loop. And that's why we start with smaller projects, because it's easier to close those loops. And as we keep going, you trust yourself more and your capacity to do more grows. If you've made it this far, you've done the first steps to getting out of your rut. Now all you need to do is do the 3 steps. Let's reclaim our life. You don't have to have everything figured out. I don't know what's next. I don't have a new strategy planned for YouTube. I was tempted to make a series name for chats like this, and then I stopped myself because, again, MVP. I just know I want to keep making things. This is a journey of me as a creator, and I'm just happy that I'm documenting it, the highs and the lows. I hope this video helped someone out there. In fact, I might have created this video so that I could come back to it in the future. If you're here again, Future Jazz, put that phone down and go do something fun, something small. Make a puzzle, learn a new song on the guitar, have a crafts night, buy some clay and make some cute little animals. I don't know. Do something small. Again, we're just here to close the loop. I kept waiting for the passion to come back before I started, but sometimes you have to start for the passion to come back. This video was the loop I needed to close. Now, a YouTube video might not be the loop you have to close, but whatever that loop is for you, do something simple and close it. As always, I hope this helped. If any part of this resonated with you, leave the comments down below and I will reply to every single one of you, because that is also a closed loop. And let me know how it goes for you. What's the one loop you're going to close today? Remember, you don't have to be perfect to start, and I'll see you in the next one.